This installation tutorial features our new Fishman Fluence Classic Humbuckers in a typical 2-volume, 2-tone, and 3-way switch configuration. The first thing I've done is to remove all existing electronics, including the pickups, to give us basically a blank canvas with which to work. Now install the provided 25K pots in the 2-volume positions and the included push-pull pots in the 2-tone positions, with the lugs facing each other as shown. The included potentiometers with your Fluence pickups are 18-spline short shaft 25K audio taper pots. Depending upon the specifics of your guitar, other options are available. Please contact Fishman Support directly for assistance. The first bit of soldering will be to run one of the individual capacitors from the third lug of the bridge tone pot across the middle 2 lugs of the push-pull and then grounded to the pot casing. So to the third lug, through the 2 center lugs on the push-pull, and finally grounded to the side of the casing. The view from the opposite side shows these 4 points. Now repeat the process for the neck position tone pot and ground it to the casing. From the opposite angle, you can see how both pots are wired identically. Now run a wire from the middle lug of the bridge tone pot to the first lug of the bridge volume pot. Don't solder this wire to the volume pot yet, since we will be adding a second wire to the same lug shortly. I'm just placing the wire in the lug on the volume pot for now. Here's a view from the other side. Repeat the process for the neck pots. And your assembly should look like this. Again, don't solder the wire to the volume pot lug yet. Run a wire from the center lug of the volume pot to the corresponding bridge pickup lug of the 3-way switch. Do the same for the neck volume pot, running a wire from the middle lug to the neck position lug of the 3-way switch. Solder them into place and trim any excess to keep the ends clear of the output lug of the 3-way, which we will wire later. Now run a wire from the ground lug of the 3-way switch. Since we're going to ground, you can solder to the back of any pot. I'm joining the ground off of the 3-way switch with the existing ground wire that runs through the body of the guitar from the bridge. Now we can run all the wiring off the pair of Fluence Humbuckers through the internal routing of the guitar and through to the control cavity. Run the white wire through from the neck pickup cavity, and the black wire through from the bridge pickup cavity. These are for each pickup's output. Run the blue and green pair from the neck position, and the orange and yellow pair from the bridge position. These 2 pairs are for voice 2 and for high frequency tilt options for each pickup. Make sure you have the pickup labeled Classic Neck and connect it in the neck position with the wires running red, black, white, green, and blue from left to right as shown here. Take the other pickup, labeled Classic Bridge, and repeat the process with the wires running red, black, white, orange, and yellow from left to right. Go ahead now and secure the two pickups in place. For the high-frequency tilt option, connect the leads from the blue and yellow wires together and solder to the push-pull lug on the bridge tone pot, as shown here. Here's a view from the opposite angle. For voice 2 selectivity, connect the leads from the green and orange wires together and connect them to the lug shown here on the push-pull for the neck. Here's the view from the opposite angle. For the bridge pickup's output, strip the outer casing from the black wire to expose the ground shielding. Twist the ground shielding and solder to the back of the bridge volume pot, with the hot lead going to the first lug, along with the wire from the bridge tone pot that we set in place previously. Solder to the first lug along with the wire from the tone pot. And solder the ground to the back of the bridge volume pot. Viewed from the other side, it should look like this. Now repeat the process with the white wire from the neck pickup. Strip the outer casing to expose the ground shielding, which will go to the back of the neck volume pot, with the hot lead going to the first lug soldered into place along with the previous wire from the neck tone pot. Just like with the bridge volume pot, it should look like this from the other side. Attach the included output jack and run a wire from the output lugs of the three-way switch to the lug for the tip of the output jack. Solder to the output lugs and trim any excess if necessary. And across to the lug for the tip of the jack, as shown here. The middle lug for the output jack needs to go to ground, so the back of any pot will do. I've been using the back of the neck volume for my ground, so I'll just put it there. So again, middle lug of the jack to ground, in this case, the back of the neck volume pot. From the opposite angle, the jack should now look like this. Now trim the leads from each of the red wires coming off the pickups and twist them together. Connect these to the red lead off of the 9-volt connector and the black lead from the 9-volt connector to the remaining lug on the output jack. Twist the red leads together. Solder them securely. And cover with a piece of heat shrink tubing or electrical tape. Solder the black lead from the 9-volt to the remaining lug on the output jack. The last step is to ground all 4 pots by running the included bus wire between them. Note that I'm running them through the third lug of each volume pot and then to the pot case in order to ground. I'm soldering to the case of the bridge tone pot, through the third lug of the bridge volume pot, to the top of the bridge volume pot, to the third lug of the neck volume pot, to ground on the case of the neck volume pot, along with all of our other grounds. And lastly, to the case of the neck tone pot, ensuring that all 4 pots are grounded. Find a spot for the 9-volt battery and cover it with tape or isolate it with a piece of foam so that it doesn't short out any connections. There's plenty of room here between the two tone pots. Connect the 9-volt battery, drop it in place, and your Fishman Fluence Classic Humbucker installation is complete. For more information on the complete line of Fluence single-width and humbucking pickups, including rechargeable battery packs, be sure to visit fluence.fishman.com.